Cloudscape Comics is a charity publisher and a community organization that's dedicated to both publishing BC comics and helping people learn about how to make comics and how to meet new people. Since 2007, Cloudscape Comics has been an organization. We started off in a little coffee shop where people were doing comic jams together. All decided that maybe comic jams is a good start, but we could also be doing more because there's so much talent in BC. So they made Cloudscape Comics to start publishing those people. Cloudscape Comics found out about the field houses a couple years ago and decided that this would be a great chance to not only give the organization an HQ, but allow us to start interacting more with the public and seeing if we can not only teach them how to enjoy comics, but also to make them and to start to promote the BC comics industry. We do a lot of events, either in our studio or at some of the community centers around Vancouver, like the Sunset Community Centre or the Killarney Community Centre.
So today we're here at the Sunset Community Centre doing Family Day, where a lot of local charities, groups, arts groups, sport groups are holding tables and activities. What Cloudscape is doing is a series of comic jams. Now, a comic jam is where one person creates a single panel, starting off a story, and then they hand that paper to somebody else who draws the next panel.
Cloudscape is doing this because we think the comic talent in BC is quite rich and could really be developed with some handling and some promotion and a little bit of support in learning how to make the comics. Both from the people of young age to the people of senior age. Anybody can make comics, and we wanted to really get that home to people that this is an art form that anybody can do. Comics in Transit is another thing we've done, which tells refugee stories and puts them in bus shelters around the city. We've also used our comics to help charities. We've raised funds for cancer and that kind of thing. And we've shown kids how to tell a story using somebody else's starting point and learn how to really think creativity that way. They're quite an isolating art form. Sometimes you think you're the only person making any, change you to your desk, and it's not exactly a social activity. Doesn't mean it has to be that way. If you come down to Cloudscape Comics, you get to meet a lot of creative people, you get to learn from them, share your stories with them, get tips, and otherwise make friends that are interested in the same kind of art that you are. Our anthologies, previously our anthologies were voted upon by the membership once a year at the annual general meeting. They would choose a theme, we would put that out to the public, and people would submit their stories to us for curating into the book. And our projects were kind of made in the same way anyone might make a curated magazine. Other things like the classes or the events we do with the public, we approach a lot of community centers to see if they need our help with any upcoming events. And sometimes when there is nothing going on, no family days or anything like that, we throw events here. Getting the studio for the first time was a great experience because suddenly we had so many more resources, so many new opportunities to teach people about comics, to show them what can be done with comics and how we may challenge their expectations about comics as an actual art form. But there was also a lot of other great feelings about like publishing 3 books in 1 year, which was a huge feat for us, or getting our comics into the public sphere outside of a book, doing book launches over at the Vancouver Maritime Museum, those kinds of things. I can't think of any one particular experience, but it's always been a great roller coaster. For many people, it's their first chance at publication, so it's a very proud moment for a lot of our artists. I remember my first time being published in a Cloudscape Comics anthology, and I thought I'd made it to the big leagues. I hadn't, but it was a great feeling. A more recent feeling was seeing people enjoy our comics in the bus shelters around Vancouver. A few of the teachers in elementary schools around Vancouver have asked if we could use the comics as teaching resources. So it's nice to see that our comics can be used as an educational tool in the future. There's something that's so fantastic about the mixture of writing and art and sequential storytelling that is just makes it something that a book or a painting can never be. Hopefully in the future, we'd like to publish at least 3 books a year. We'd like to have a series of ongoing classes, and we'd like to continue our Comics in Transit project, which involves taking comics outside of the book format and putting them out into the public in bus shelters.